Hey folks, Mr. Bucko here with a couple of examples on spheres, specifically volume and surface area of a sphere, because that's our target here. And for those of you keeping score at home, this is 10.6 and 10.7 out of our textbook. So let's get rolling here and find the volume and surface area of a sphere. So first of all, what is a sphere? A sphere is a ball. We were to use kind of normal everyday language. Here's a picture of a sphere, and a sphere has a radius, just like a circle, basically a three-dimensional circle where a sphere is the set of all the points that are the same distance from a given point, which is called the center. So if this is the center, all the points on the sphere are the same distance from the center in a three-dimensional manner, and that's called the radius. The radius is that distance from the center to any point on the sphere. So that's what a sphere is, and we're going to find the volume and the surface area of that sphere, or of a sphere here, with these formulas. The volume formula for a sphere is 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. So in order to find the volume of a sphere, we need to know the radius. And if we want to know the radius of a sphere, we would need to know the volume. So these two things depend on each other, particularly as this is formatted here. The volume of a sphere depends upon the radius of the sphere. So that's our formula for the volume of a sphere. 4/3 pi r cubed. The surface area formula for a sphere, which calculates how much areas on the outside, would be 4 times pi times the radius squared. So this surface area formula is much easier than the other surface area formulas for three-dimensional figures that we've seen, like cones and pyramids and prisms and cylinders and stuff like that. So this is much simpler. Just 4 times pi times the radius squared would give you the surface area formula. And these are somewhat easy to remember. There's a 4 in both of them, and then the area formula is squared because area is square units, so the radius is squared. And then volume is three-dimensional, so the radius is cubed. So not too tough to remember those, at least compared to the other formulas that we've dealt with. Sphere's surface area and volume formulas are pretty simple, relatively speaking, that is. So let's do this. Let's find the volume and surface area of a sphere. Here's a sphere where they tell you that the diameter of that sphere is 16 centimeters, and we're going to find the volume. Well, to find the volume, we need the volume formula. The volume is equal to 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. We have the diameter here of 16 centimeters. So the radius is going to be half of that because the radius is half of the diameter. So that's going to be 8. So we'll plug in 8 into our formula, and then we'll just do the arithmetic and find the volume. Order of operations says we do 8 to the third first. 8 to the third is 512 because 8 times 8 times 8 is 512. And then we can do 512 times 4. 512 times 4 is 2048, and then we have times pi, so 2048 pi over 3. And then we can leave this as an exact answer, or we can do a decimal approximation by changing pi to 3.14 and get approximately 2,144.7 centimeters cubed is the volume of this sphere. Taking that radius and plugging it into the formula, and then just doing the arithmetic. The surface area is the same deal. Surface area formula is 4 pi r squared. So we have the radius. It's 8. So plug in 8. 8 squared times pi times 4. It's going to be 64 times 4 times pi, and 64 times 4 is 256. So an exact answer for the surface area would be 256 pi. If you want a decimal approximation, it would be 804.2. So the surface area of this sphere with a diameter of 16 centimeters is 804.2 centimeters squared.